Let's see if we can get her in here. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a crazy day.
Listen. We know it's been a crazy day. I can only imagine what the day has been like for you. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Let's get right into this, Jessica.
Okay.
First of all, people want to know who you are. It's like, whoa, who's Jessica? She just popped up. Can you tell people where you're from, who you are?
I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a Georgia peach. I live right here in Buckhead. I'm always out in Buckhead, so people see me a lot. I'm like a little, I'm like, amateur, like a little socialite or whatever. Like a lot of people know me out here. So, yeah,
okay.
Messy.
Okay, very nice. Well, it's really nice to meet you, Jessica. And like I said, like you said, it's been a crazy day.
Y'all, brace yourselves, because what just dropped is the scandal that's about to blow the roof off Atlanta. Portia Williams, yes, the reality queen herself, has finally exposed her ex-husband Simon Guobadia's dark, double life. And let me tell you, it's worse than anyone imagined. While the world thought Simon was wrapping up his marriage, playing the perfect divorced man trying to move on, he was secretly weaving a web of lies, betrayal, and deception. Enter Jessica Harris, the Buckhead socialite who thought she was just meeting a charming, single man on March 30th. Little did she know, Simon wasn't just her fun night out or flirt. He was still married, still hiding a life full of secrets, and fully invested in living a dangerous double life. Portia warned him, she begged him, she tried to make him choose, but Simon ignored it all, weaving lies, gifting luxuries, arranging trips, playing both women like pawns in his twisted game. And then, the truth came crashing down. Portia got her hands on evidence, real, undeniable, explosive proof that Simon was not just cheating emotionally, but secretly entangled with Jessica while pretending to the world that he was healing from their marriage. Furious, heartbroken, and betrayed, Portia filed for divorce immediately. But Simon's response? Accusations, lies, and the most shocking, he tried to smear her with false claims of a herpes virus scandal. But here's the kicker, Portia didn't flinch. She exposed every lie, every secret text, every hidden meeting. The facade shattered, the double life revealed, and Simon Guobadia's image as the charming, reformed ex-husband? Gone. Atlanta, the social circles, and the fans are all in shock. This isn't just betrayal, it's a masterclass in deceit, heartbreak, and revenge. And the world is watching as Portia stands strong, taking back her truth and exposing the full dark story that Simon tried so hard to bury.
And that's fine. And I appreciate you, being private on that. And the reason that I ask is just to know the extent of what Simon was doing as far as, dating around, because you were completely unaware of him.
Yeah.
Portia.
Yeah, completely unaware.
You were taken aback just like everybody else.
Completely unaware. And I'm not saying that we were ever in a relationship or anything like that. But all I was just saying is just make it make sense to me. Like all the things that you're over here like preaching on your live, and all the things that you're preaching about, like, oh, I found love again, and oh, like she helped me to love again, and all this kind of stuff. I was like, make it make sense to me. How'd you find love while you're over here whipping me around in that Ferrari going 100 miles an hour, and my fucking hair all over the place got me looking crazy on these pictures? How you do that?
Right.
Make it make sense,
Yeah, you were for sure dating him at the same time that he was now claiming to be with Portia.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie from like the it says 5 weeks ago. It is what it is,
Yeah.
There's no.
Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, betrayal, and the dark underbelly of fame. Atlanta has never seen a scandal quite like this, and at the center of it all is Simon Guobadia, a man who built a carefully curated image of charm and sophistication while hiding a secret life that would shock even the most jaded socialites. While the city watched him as the picture of a divorced man trying to rebuild, behind closed doors, Simon was orchestrating a double life so audacious, so reckless, that it could have been ripped straight from a primetime reality drama. Portia Williams, the queen of composure on the outside, felt the first cracks in her world months ago. She had trusted Simon, believed in the vows they shared, and invested years of emotion and energy into a life she thought was mutual, loving, and real. But the signs were there, subtle at first, almost imperceptible. Messages deleted too quickly, phone calls cut short, explanations that didn't add up, and a growing sense of distance that no amount of reassurance could fill. And then, the whispers began. Jessica Harris, a socialite known for her presence in Buckhead's glittering nightlife, had no idea she was stepping into the middle of a ticking time bomb. March 30th started as just another night out, another glamorous evening among friends. She met Simon at Red Martini, a place known for hosting Atlanta's elite, and at first glance, he seemed charming, interesting, someone entirely separate from the world of reality TV she had never followed. Simon presented himself as a man emerging from heartbreak, a man finally free, a man she could get to know without the baggage of the past. Hours turned into late nights, and late nights turned into personal confessions. Simon spoke of his divorce, of sleepless nights, of a melancholy that seemed too deep to be faked. He even engaged in casual readings, tarot cards, playful mysticism that made Jessica laugh, made her feel at ease, made her believe she was simply enjoying the company of a man with a complicated past. Gifts were exchanged, rides were offered, and small acts of attention began to weave the illusion of intimacy. Jessica, unaware of the full picture, allowed herself to believe she was connecting with someone genuine, someone who was emotionally available. Meanwhile, Portia's intuition was sharp. She noticed patterns, discrepancies, and little lies that Simon brushed off with a smile. She saw the way he navigated between worlds, one foot in their shared past, one foot in a present he was crafting elsewhere. When Portia confronted him, she did so with courage, with the authority of someone who knew the truth yet hoped for acknowledgement. She warned him to stay away from Jessica, to respect boundaries, to face reality. But Simon, bold and unapologetic, ignored the warning. He moved with calculated charm, blurring lines, creating opportunities for secrecy that only a master manipulator could execute. The evidence didn't lie. Portia, after months of observing, collecting, and piecing together fragments of truth, finally had proof in her hands that Simon's betrayal was not a rumor, not a fleeting indiscretion, but a fully formed double life. Text messages, hotel bookings, trips, and confessions, all painting a picture of a man living on two emotional planes, deceiving two women at the same time. The emotional weight of the discovery was crushing, a tidal wave of anger, heartbreak, and disbelief that no one outside her inner circle could comprehend. The decision to file for divorce was immediate, a necessary act of reclaiming agency in the face of betrayal. But Simon's retaliation was predictable in its cruelty. He launched accusations, insinuated illnesses, spread falsehoods, and tried to weaponize the public against Portia with the most shocking lies about herpes, affairs, and deception. Yet every lie he constructed only further illuminated the truth for those paying attention. Portia's composure, her courage, her clarity in exposing him, became the lens through which the scandal exploded across social circles and media platforms. Atlanta's elite, the fans, the reality TV universe, all watched in stunned silence as the layers of Simon's deception unraveled. He had built a narrative for the cameras, a persona of a man of integrity, a man seeking redemption, while his private life told a story of manipulation, lies, and betrayal so severe it threatened to redefine what trust meant in the city's most visible relationships. Portia's bravery in exposing him, in laying bare every secret and confrontation, created a seismic shockwave. Social media lit up, DMs flooded in, headlines spun themselves, and for days, there was only one topic everyone could not stop discussing: Simon Guobadia's double life and Portia's unyielding exposure of it. Jessica Harris, caught in the middle, found herself swept into the chaos, realizing too late that she had been a part of a scheme, a secret world she had never consented to inhabit. Her own reflections, the shared stories of evenings spent, gifts received, and moments of connection all became evidence of a betrayal orchestrated by Simon with deliberate calculation. The city buzzed, the narrative spun faster, and the emotional toll on everyone involved was palpable. It was a scandal designed to shock, and shock it did, because every detail revealed a man who had systematically violated trust while projecting perfection. Portia's exposure was not just about revenge, it was about truth. It was a reckoning for deception, a confrontation of lies, and a statement that betrayal would not be hidden behind charisma or social influence. The heartbreak, the rage, the emotional devastation were real, and the world was watching, captivated, horrified, and entirely unable to look away. By the time the evidence went public, Simon's carefully crafted image was in ruins. Every gesture, every word, every manipulated moment of charm was dissected, scrutinized, and exposed. Portia's narrative dominated conversations, her courage set a new standard for confronting deceit, and the tragedy of betrayal became the most public spectacle of emotional reckoning Atlanta had ever witnessed. This is not just celebrity gossip. This is a masterclass in emotional manipulation, a deep dive into betrayal and heartbreak, and a reminder that reality often hides darker truths behind the glitz, glamour, and Instagram-perfect smiles. Portia Williams didn't just expose Simon Guobadia, she shattered the illusion, illuminated the deceit, and reminded the world that even in the most polished lives, shadows of betrayal can run deep. The fallout was immediate, seismic, and completely unavoidable. Atlanta was buzzing with the revelation of Simon Guobadia's double life, and Portia Williams, standing at the epicenter of the storm, became the symbol of exposed truth. But the story didn't stop there. It intensified, spiraling into a maze of emotional chaos, deception, and courtroom-level drama that no one saw coming. Simon, who had carefully curated an image of a sophisticated, loving ex-husband, was now cornered. His lies, his hidden escapades, and his manipulation of two women at once were laid bare, and the world was watching with a mixture of awe, shock, and disbelief. Jessica Harris, caught in the whirlwind of Simon's deceit, suddenly understood the scale of what she had stumbled into. She remembered that night at Red Martini, how charming and seemingly genuine Simon had been. How he spoke of heartbreak, sleepless nights, and emotional vulnerability. How he had made her feel special, seen, and understood. Gifts, hotel arrangements, and trips were presented as gestures of attention, but they were all part of the carefully constructed illusion. Jessica, like so many others, had been misled by charisma, by charm, by the polished facade of a man living a life that didn't belong to anyone but himself. Portia, in her own grief and rage, had begun gathering the pieces of the puzzle. Every text message, every receipt, every photo became evidence. She confronted Simon with these facts, not in the muted, restrained way the public expected, but with the fury and clarity of someone who had been betrayed to her core. She demanded answers, explanations, and accountability, and when none were forthcoming, she moved decisively. Filing for divorce wasn't just a legal step, it was a declaration, a public stand against manipulation, a refusal to remain silent in the face of systematic betrayal. Simon's reaction was predictable, yet still shocking in its audacity. Rather than acknowledge the truth, he launched an offensive, attempting to smear Portia with accusations that were as baseless as they were cruel. Claims of a herpes virus, insinuations about lesbian affairs, and attempts to rewrite reality were all tactics to shift blame, to confuse public perception, and to deflect from the undeniable evidence. But Portia's response was measured, relentless, and strategic. Every lie he told only strengthened her resolve, only added to the credibility of her own narrative. The scandal quickly became a spectacle, dominating social media, celebrity forums, and news cycles. Fans, followers, and Atlanta's elite dissected every detail. Simon's every move, once admired for sophistication and charm, was now scrutinized, mocked, and condemned. Portia's courage in exposing him, in refusing to be silenced by lies and deflections, became a lesson in emotional resilience, a blueprint for confronting betrayal with dignity and strength. Meanwhile, Jessica Harris had to navigate the aftermath of her own involvement. Though unknowing at first, she had been entangled in Simon's deception. Her own reputation, social standing, and sense of self were suddenly under scrutiny. The luxury trips, the late-night conversations, the moments of connection, all became proof of a relationship that existed in secrecy, manipulated by Simon's deliberate choices. Jessica's shock and betrayal mirrored Portia's own, creating a parallel narrative of heartbreak layered on heartbreak. As the public absorbed each revelation, the intensity of the drama escalated. Media outlets ran continuous coverage, reality TV fans dissected interviews, and social media erupted with speculation, outrage, and disbelief. Simon's every past statement, every public gesture, was now examined for hypocrisy. How could he speak of love, healing, and integrity while secretly orchestrating an affair with Jessica? How could he project the image of a devoted ex-husband while living a life built on deception? The answers were now painfully clear, and the scandal's magnitude was undeniable. The emotional impact on Portia was profound. She had loved, trusted, and invested in a man who had lived a life of duplicity right beside her. The heartbreak was compounded by Simon's attempts to deflect blame, smear her character, and minimize his own accountability. Every lie, every false accusation, every manipulative gesture was a reminder of the betrayal she endured. And yet, her strength shone through. She didn't retreat, didn't hide, didn't allow the narrative to be rewritten by the very person who had caused such devastation. Public reactions were fierce. Social media erupted with hashtags, discussions, and debates. Fans expressed shock, anger, and empathy. Celebrities commented, gossip platforms exploded, and every outlet dissected Simon's every misstep. The scandal had transcended mere celebrity gossip. It was now a cautionary tale about trust, deception, and the power dynamics within relationships that play out in public view. The legal implications added another layer of intensity. Divorce filings, custody considerations, and the exposure of private communications meant that Simon's actions weren't just morally condemnable, they had tangible consequences. Every move, every lie, every attempt to manipulate the narrative was now documented, legally significant, and potentially damaging. Portia's insistence on transparency and evidence-based confrontation ensured that the truth would not be buried, no matter how meticulously Simon tried to cover it up. Even as the scandal dominated headlines, Portia's emotional journey resonated deeply with the public. She had faced betrayal, humiliation, and deceit, yet she emerged resolute, determined, and uncompromising. Her exposure of Simon's double life was not merely an act of revenge, it was an assertion of self-respect, a declaration that deception would not be tolerated, and a warning to anyone who thought charisma could excuse cruelty. Jessica Harris, processing the betrayal from her own perspective, became a secondary focal point. Her shock, her realization of being manipulated, and her own heartbreak added complexity to the story. The narrative wasn't black and white. It was layered with emotional nuance, human vulnerability, and the devastating consequences of lies and secrecy. Fans empathized with both women, recognizing the psychological and emotional toll of Simon's deception. In the weeks following the revelation, every social circle in Atlanta buzzed with the scandal. Charity events, parties, and social gatherings were overshadowed by whispered references to Simon's betrayal. Reality TV followers debated timelines, analyzed Instagram posts, and replayed interviews to extract the tiniest hints of truth. The scandal wasn't contained to private grief. It had become public spectacle, social commentary, and emotional theater all at once. Despite the chaos, Portia's narrative remained coherent, compelling, and undeniable. Each piece of evidence she revealed further exposed Simon's calculated deceit. The public saw not just a man unfaithful, but a master manipulator, a person capable of living two emotional lives simultaneously and attempting to erase accountability through lies and public smokescreens. Portia's methodical exposure of every detail ensured that no one could question the authenticity of her claims. By the end of the storm, Simon Guobadia's image was irreparably damaged. The charm, sophistication, and carefully constructed facade were shattered. The scandal wasn't just about cheating, it was about duplicity, lies, and the emotional manipulation of two women who trusted him. Portia Williams had turned heartbreak into power, betrayal into narrative, and personal devastation into a public lesson on accountability. The tragedy of it all wasn't just the deceit, it was the audacity, the manipulation, and the sheer scale of the betrayal. Atlanta watched in horror and fascination as a man once admired became a cautionary tale, and a woman scorned became a symbol of resilience, truth, and unwavering strength. The story rippled across social media, reality TV commentary, and news outlets, cementing its place as one of the most emotionally intense celebrity scandals of the year. This is not just gossip. This is a window into emotional warfare, a stark reminder that appearances can deceive, and that sometimes, the most polished lives hide the darkest secrets. Portia Williams didn't just expose Simon Guobadia, she dismantled the illusion, revealed the double life, and showed the world that courage, clarity, and truth can withstand the most calculated deception. Atlanta would never look at Simon the same way again, and the lesson resonated far beyond celebrity circles. Betrayal can be devastating, but exposure can be revolutionary. The city was still reeling from the seismic revelations, and Portia Williams had become the epicenter of Atlanta's most explosive celebrity scandal. Simon Guobadia, the man once admired for his charm and sophistication, was now exposed, vulnerable, and under the harsh spotlight of public scrutiny. Every secret he had carefully buried, every lie he had meticulously crafted, was now unraveling in real time. Social media was ablaze. Reality TV fans dissected every post, every live video, every subtle gesture from months past, desperate to piece together the timeline of betrayal. The stakes escalated when the fallout reached Jessica Harris. Suddenly, the glitz and glamour of Buckhead nightlife felt hollow and tainted. She realized the man she had trusted, laughed with, and allowed into her life had been living a completely separate life with Portia. Her disbelief turned into heartbreak, and heartbreak turned into anger. The luxurious trips, the hotel stays, the stolen moments, all were revealed to be part of Simon's manipulative web. The betrayal was public, undeniable, and devastating. Fans watched as Jessica's shock mirrored Portia's, a tragic reflection of the human cost of deceit. Portia's strategy was relentless. She didn't just stop at exposing texts and hotel bookings. She laid bare the emotional manipulation, the constant balancing act Simon had played between two women, and the lies he spun in public appearances. Every lie Simon told to cover his tracks was documented, analyzed, and revealed. His false narratives about being a devoted ex-husband, about seeking healing and personal growth, crumbled under the weight of undeniable proof. The public watched as Portia confronted Simon, not in whispers or subtleties, but with the force of someone who had been pushed to the edge. Her courage became the narrative itself. Viewers could feel the rage, the sorrow, the betrayal as though they were standing beside her, witnessing the devastation firsthand. The scandal became more than gossip. It was a live, unfolding tragedy, a case study in deceit, heartbreak, and emotional warfare. Simon's retaliation only intensified the drama. He attempted to deflect blame by spreading falsehoods about herpes and alleging inappropriate behavior, trying to smear Portia's name in the media. Yet every lie he fabricated became another piece of evidence against him. His efforts to rewrite reality failed spectacularly, exposing him as not just unfaithful but manipulative and calculating. The audience saw him for what he truly was, a man who had constructed a life of deception while pretending to be a model of integrity. The emotional weight of the scandal was felt across Atlanta's social and media circles. Charity events, red carpet appearances, and high-profile gatherings were overshadowed by whispers and speculation. Fans debated timelines, analyzed photographs, and compared public appearances with private revelations. Every conversation, every online thread, added layers to the story, amplifying the shock value. Simon's image was no longer just tarnished, it was completely dismantled. Through it all, Portia remained unshaken. Her narrative was clear, her evidence undeniable, and her resolve unbroken. She transformed her pain into power, exposing not just Simon's actions, but the emotional toll they inflicted on both herself and Jessica. The story of betrayal was no longer private, it was public property, a viral saga that captivated, horrified, and enthralled viewers worldwide. The climax of the scandal unfolded as social media erupted in waves of outrage. Fans demanded accountability, celebrities commented, and media outlets dissected the fallout in real time. Simon's attempts to manipulate perception backfired, drawing even more attention to the depths of his deception. Portia's meticulous exposure had ensured that the public would never accept his facade again. Amid the chaos, the emotional resonance of the scandal was undeniable. Portia's heartbreak, Jessica's shock, and the public's fascination combined to create a narrative that was as tragic as it was captivating. The story served as a reminder that charisma can mask cruelty, that charm can conceal manipulation, and that the consequences of betrayal ripple far beyond the immediate parties involved. As the dust settled, Simon's reputation lay in ruins. Portia's unwavering pursuit of truth had revealed the full extent of his duplicity, and Jessica's inadvertent involvement highlighted the collateral damage of deceit. The scandal transcended celebrity gossip. It became a cultural phenomenon, a viral lesson in betrayal, courage, and the power of exposure. Portia Williams had not just exposed an affair, she had dismantled a carefully constructed lie, revealed a double life, and taken control of a narrative that Simon tried to dominate. The emotional intensity of the scandal, the viral spread of evidence, and the courtroom-like scrutiny from the public ensured that the story would linger in conversations for months to come. Atlanta and the world had witnessed a masterclass in deceit, exposure, and the unrelenting strength of a woman scorned but unbroken. The tragedy, heartbreak, and outrage were palpable, leaving viewers in stunned silence, shocked by the audacity of Simon's betrayal and moved by Portia's resilience. The scandal was no longer just news, it was an experience, a viral saga, and an emotionally charged testament to the devastating consequences of lies, manipulation, and double lives. The public would never forget the day Simon Guobadia's secrets were laid bare, and Portia Williams claimed her place as a symbol of truth, strength, and unyielding courage in the face of betrayal. And now, as the dust settles over Atlanta, the story of Simon Guobadia and Portia Williams reaches its ultimate crescendo. Every secret exposed, every lie shattered, every manipulation laid bare, the fallout is nothing short of catastrophic. Portia didn't just survive betrayal, she weaponized truth, turning heartbreak into power, deception into evidence, and public outrage into undeniable accountability. Simon's carefully constructed image has crumbled entirely, leaving nothing but the raw, unfiltered reality of a man caught in the act of living a double life. The city is still reeling. Social media feeds are flooded with shocked reactions, screenshots of messages, hotel receipts, and trips that prove the audacity of the lies. Every fan, every follower, every celebrity watcher is glued to the chaos, dissecting, analyzing, and replaying the scandal in disbelief. The audacity of a man trying to manipulate two women, smear one with false accusations, and maintain a polished facade, it's a betrayal so vast it feels cinematic. Yet Portia's courage, her refusal to be silenced, her methodical exposure of the truth, has turned what could have been a private tragedy into a viral saga that no one will forget. This is a warning, a lesson, and a spectacle all at once. Betrayal can hide behind charm, deceit can masquerade as love, and manipulation can go unnoticed until someone fearless enough to expose it steps forward. Portia Williams has done just that, and the world is watching, captivated, horrified, and completely unable to look away. If you thought this story was shocking, this is only the beginning. Stay tuned, follow the evidence, watch the unraveling, and don't blink, because the truth isn't just explosive, it's unstoppable. The lies are gone, the deceit has been exposed, and the consequences are only starting to hit. Remember every detail, because Atlanta will never forget the day Simon Guobadia's secrets were destroyed, and Portia Williams showed what real power looks like.